ever wrote in my life. And it was more or less the literature review of my PhD thesis. It formed a book. And that book or that article that you write after your thesis is supposed to look even at some of the mistakes you may have made when you were writing your thesis. You can never be perfect. No thesis is perfect. And no academic writing is perfect. No article in a journal is perfect. But it must be good enough. It must be satisfying enough, fit for purpose, so to say. A thesis should be the flagship of your academic publications. Flagship. Something you should be proud of, something you should honor, something you should handle and protect. Your thesis is your first flagship in your academic writing. Those of you who are embarking on it, remember what you're going through, searching for materials, going around interviews, administering questionnaires, collecting data all over the place, analyzing them, sweating through. Some of you walk miles and miles in order to get information. Some spend nights in villages without light in order to reach the target audience. At the end, when you collect all your information and put them into a thesis, you relax and say, thank God, I have done it. Eureka, I found it. And it's very easy to translate it into a book or series of articles. A good thesis should be able to yield not less than 3 academic publications. If you write a thesis for a PhD, especially, or for MPhil, and you cannot, at the end of it all, get about 3 or 4 articles for journals, then you did not do enough work. Thesis should, as I said, should be the flagship of your academic pursuit. And so those of you who are embarking on thesis writing, this is your first time to write purely academic paper. Any other thing you may have written, classroom notes, notes of lessons, and the rest of them, book of readings, where you collect material from one another, cut and paste, put them together, and bind them and distribute them to students or to your fellows and call them books. It's after your PhD that we know you're now a scholar, and you should be able to produce as many articles as possible from that thesis. Your literature review is the most effective means of disseminating your hard-earned thesis. Academic writing is the most effective way. You know, sometimes when we do our thesis, many of us, the thesis end up in our bookshelves forever. Even yourself, you forget to know where they are in your study or among your books because they are not exciting enough, because there's nothing you have in it to tell the public. Let me emphasize again, if you write a thesis, they may even award you a PhD. Okay, depends on the university. If you cannot get good articles that are published in reputable journals, please mark my adjective, reputable journals. There are journals, there are journals, there are journals, now that everybody can print anything online. Not all of them are academic. Most of the things I have read elsewhere, they have references maybe up to 80 or 90. And where are they published? In some printing press, in some mint houses. And you bring them because they are from abroad. You say they are international. What makes them international? International is not the same thing as foreign. Something done in Ghana, inside Ghana, can also be international. In other words, anything that has international acceptance, your writing must have an international acceptance. whether it's a journal or a book or a review, it must have an international acceptance. Somebody in Nigeria must see a writing from Ghana and say, wow, this is it. Somebody from Kenya will see something from Ghana and say, this is material. That material is international. It doesn't have to be published in England and New York to be called international. Now, having said that, the second aspect of my talk is to once again harp on essential aspects of the thesis in academic writing. I like talking about this because I've had practical experience with you in Winneba, with my students in Lagos, with my students in other places I've lived in Kenya, in Tanzania, and other places. There are many things we overlook. For your interest, especially those who are joining first, especially from the MPhil, the essential aspects of your thesis for academic writing are: 1, background and problem statement; 2, your literature review; 3, the findings of each hypothesis or research questions, or a combination of hypotheses. These can yield you a fantastic academic work. You can also, maybe some of you are not aware, that you can write and publish what we call annotated bibliography. Annotated, A-N-N-O-T-A-T-E-D. Annotated bibliography. That is a combination of related materials, literature, that are related to the work you are doing. You get them, and by annotation, that is, each of those material that you have used, you give a summary of them. It's different from references. Annotated bibliography gives much more information about that publication that you used, the author, the place of publication, what it is all about, a summary of the whole content, what you think of it, your criticism of it, and what you recommend about it. One reference can yield you 2 pages in annotated bibliography. Now, I have been also said the second aspect of my talk should be on publishing while you write your thesis. For some people, this is a tough task to write academic papers while you're writing your thesis. Let me tell you, in my home university, where I'm speaking from now, it is mandatory for PhD students in my home university to write not less than 2 academic published papers from their thesis before external examiner would be appointed for their work. I want to repeat. Before your work is sent to an external examiner to come to the university and interview you, you would have produced at least 2 publications in renowned journals that are international in nature, journals whose ULR have AC, the ULR, in other words, the website, you must have .ac for it to be an internationally recognized academic journal. So those of you who go to all these main things that you have from internet, please look at their website address, www whatever, www.com, wew.accra. If there are no .ac, it is not academic. So it's mandatory in my own university. And I recommend the same thing for University of Education, Winneba, a university I'm proud of. It exposes the students to other research editors, because while you are writing your thesis and you carve out some papers from it and send them out for journal publication, the editors in those publishing houses, if they are real good publishing houses, will make some corrections, some notes, some observations, which they will send back to you to do corrections. And that helps to make your thesis of good quality. That publication you want to do outside from your thesis will eventually turn back to help you write a better thesis. Because good journal houses don't publish just any trash that anybody sends. I know many of you sometimes go to publishing houses where they ask you even to pay. A good journal house does not ask you to pay. Rather, they thank you. In fact, some pay you for sending your article to them for publication, because they have other means of distribution and recouping their expenses. But when a journal says to publish this, you send 150 Ghana cedi, you package it and send it to them. Why wouldn't they publish it? It's the money they're after. Like many of our pastors these days, they're after your money, not after your soul and your spirit. So publishing houses must be avoided. Good knowledge and practice of PERT, what I call PERT, P-E-R-T. PERT is a network model for project planning and controlling. For network planning and controlling. What am I saying? You must have a knowledge of how to organize your time so that you don't devote too much time on writing a paper for publication while your thesis suffers, or concentrate mostly on your thesis and think that you are writing the best without interacting with the outside world. Publishing is a specialized academic function. It is far more salient than printing. Yeah, I mean, in your university or college or wherever you are, you may have a bookshop or a press where you write anything you write, you put them together with your colleagues. One writes chapter 1, another one writes chapter 2, another one writes chapter 3. You put them together, they go and put it, and you bring it out and say it's an academic publication. Far, 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 it is not. It has not gone through the rubrics of pure academic publication. Has it been reviewed with editors? How many editors? Bland review, peer review. Salient question that we must ask when we are writing an academic paper, whether from the thesis or outside the thesis, including the thesis itself. The salient questions include the following. 1, what is the message? What message am I trying to pass on? What information do I want to tell people that they don't know? Not regurgitation of old fables, old wives' tales. No. What is new in what you are passing on to people in your academic writing, in your thesis writing? What is new? What do you want people to know? that they didn't know before. You come and tell me that the standard of education in Ghana or in Nigeria, in Winneba or in Accra or in Lagos is falling. Is that information? Who doesn't know? Who doesn't know? It's falling. How is it falling? We don't know. Tell us how it is falling. Some people just get carried away by newspaper and magazine publications. And these days of internet, all types of junks are pushed on the internet, and they take them hook, line, and sinker, adumbrate them, and just reorder them and call them publications. Come on. Who is deceiving who? You hear government people say, our universities are not producing employable graduates. Who is an employable graduate? Have you places where these graduates can even go and test their skills? Do you have employment opportunities? No, they are not employable. The graduates are not employable. And the people who are saying the graduates are not employable, they themselves, when they came out of the university, were not better than the ones we are producing. And yet they made it to the tops. Now conduct a research to tell us the meaning of graduates not being employable. What do employers need? What the employers need, are they in sync with the curriculum of a normal university or college? Would the employer dictate what the universities teach, or the university should look out and know what they select and what they don't select? Universities, for example, are being trained for people to have critical mind, critical thinking, being able to stand on their own, to experiment. That is the major purpose of a university. The other skills, psychomotor skills and the rest of them, can be acquired anywhere. But look at what we write. We simply go with the bandwagon. Yeah, we are not doing well. What I'm trying to say here is that any information you want to give must be testable. Not just they said, I read it, I heard it. No, do some proper investigation, especially with these who do so much of what do you call it, qualitative research. You go and interview 10 people, and you come and write a volume of 200 pages and say you have written a thesis. 10 people's views. You can never draw any conclusion from that unless you are doing a case study. Try and find out. Ask yourself, is this a case study that is studying a particular case, or a research? A research that has its own, that is robust, that has critical mass, that looks at various variables, various aspects of the population. We must be very careful what we call thesis in this part of the world. We must be very careful. So the message must be very clear. Whether it is a journal, if you send me a journal to criticize as a referee, I read through it and say, what is this fellow saying? What is he telling me? What am I going to get out of this? After reading through it, it may be written in good English with good punctuations and so on. But is there anything new it is telling me? If it's not telling me anything new, forget about it. It's not worth publishing. And it's not even worth accepting as a thesis. 2, when you are publishing, ask yourself, who is a publisher? And what are his or her antecedents? Who publishes your journal papers, the papers you bring? especially when you are looking for promotion. In your CV, books published, articles published, books published. Who are the publishers? A publishing house that doesn't have a renowned editor, that doesn't house editors, that can look at your work, send it forth and backwards for correction and so on. Not just for you to satisfy them with some money you send. And sometimes even you send a paper, I have an experience somewhere, I won't mention the place, where a paper was sent on a Monday, and by Saturday they had written for acceptance. And the fellow was very happy and said, Prof, I've already got an acceptance. I said, for what? He said, for that paper. The paper we looked at the other day, oh my God. And that is much of what is happening in Africa. Even some university houses that are publishing, they are publishing things to make money. They get money because the universities have to be well funded. They want to have some money. So anything you bring, as long as it is university press, Accra, university press, Kukumaiko, university press, Lagos, university press, Ibadan, university press. That is, university press doesn't make it good quality. We must probe into how the processes they go into before accepting things for publication. The processes, the procedure. When you are writing for publication, an academic paper, you must also ask yourself, my dear brothers and sisters, what are the financial implications? What are the financial implications? If you don't have enough money to embark on a project, forget about it. You don't do things half and half. You must have enough money to sponsor yourself to do a work. To publish a book is not easy. And finally, what is your ultimate purpose? Why do you want to publish it? I know many of you listening to me, you simply want to get MPhil, PhD in order to get a job or promotion. It's a good idea, but that's not enough in academic circles. If you don't have that urge, that hunger to contribute to knowledge, then you are not a scholar. Forget about PhD, MPhil. To contribute to practice, to make sure that what is being done better, or what is not known, I have found it and here it is. Let's use it to improve our system. If you don't have such aim and ambition, please don't deceive us and spend years and years doing MPhil because you want to get promotion or because you want to get appointment. As far as you are concerned, it's a genuine reason. But for the world outside, for us, you are cheating us. And you don't qualify to be a PhD or MPhil student. Now, I want to take us finally to what I call the 6 C's of academic writing. C, A, B, C. 6 C's. 6 of them, which you must have at the back of your mind. 1, confined. CONFINED. Is your work confined? You must confine it. It must have a boundary. You can't be writing, for example, about education in Ghana, the whole of Ghana, education in Ghana, and you're going to publish it. It's not confined. So I was talking about confinement. You must define your locality the boundary. I was talking about someone taking a whole country or a whole region in a paper. You can't do justice to it. It's not confined. It's too ambitious. You are not writing an encyclopedia. Even if it's an encyclopedia, no one person has written an encyclopedia. Number two, whatever you write must be corroborated. There must be a corroboration. That is where literature review, cross-references are important. Corroboration. You corroborate what has happened before, what is happening now. Even when I said we want to find out what new thing you have found out, nothing really is new, but it's an aspect of something in existence might be new, an aspect of something. When you talk about new knowledge, it's simply an aspect of an existing knowledge. Like when you talk about the internet and so on, it's not new knowledge. It is an aspect of information. So we must be very careful, the corroboration. Number three is critical. You will never be a good scholar. You will never write a good paper, or thesis, or article, or whatever, if you don't have critical mindedness. Being critical, asking questions. Why? When? Why not? How? Not simply what. Most of our writings answer only the question, what? You tell us what. You don't even tell people why is what. Why is what? When is what? Why not is what? That what? Why is it what not? Being critical minded, ask questions. Doubt, put some doubt and then clear the doubt you have in your mind. My dear students who are listening to me, or candidates who are listening to me, please do not take everything you read as an answer. Critically look at it. Like I said before, all those junks that you people go and download on the internet, please look at the web address again. All of you, go and look at web address. Most of the journals ought to be institutional based. I attended a workshop somewhere, and the name was so attractive because they thought they said Harvard University venue, Harvard University, blah, 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 blah. And I sponsored 4 of my lecturers then to this conference. And luckily, I was in the US at the time also myself. And I got into Harvard to find out how the conference was going, only to discover that it was just a clique of these white men and women, a clique somewhere formed a name and hired a hall, a dining hall, part of a dining hall in Boston, Harvard, Massachusetts. And that gave it a name. Oh, I'm going for a conference where? Harvard University. That's the type of experience we have. Like I said, it's not the name of the play that makes your work what it is. It's the substance inside it. Your work must be coherent. By coherence, I'm talking about interrelatedness. They must be interrelated. Paragraphs 1 and paragraph 2 must have a link. Before you leave paragraph 2 to paragraph 3, there must be a connection. There must be a flow. It must be coherent. Not you get one information in paragraph 1 of a write-up, and somewhere after about 2 or 3 pages, you get a cross-reference to the same idea, which ought to have followed with the other paragraph below. It's because we are not well organized. We believe in cut and paste, cut and paste. Once you see the title of it, you say, I'm looking at disabled children and the level of intelligence. Oh, disabled intelligence. You download it, fashion it well, and put it in your writing, in your literature review, and so on, and bring it to the lecturer or your supervisor. And of course, many of us supervisors don't have time to read. And to satisfy you so that you don't give us bad name, we say it is okay, it's all right, go ahead. When you finish this year, go ahead, and you become whatever you become later in life. One day you'll be ashamed even for people to look at your thesis. You yourself will condemn it. Your writing must be concise. Let it not be boring. When I was doing my PhD in UK, I had an experience with a fellow Nigerian, a lady. She was in another department. And when she had finished her work, I was still doing mine. She was doing MPhil. I was doing PhD. But we're in the same university. She ran to me, Aloy. I said, they say, I'm finished. I said, what is finishing you? She said, they asked me to reduce my thesis by 48 pages. I said, what? Reduce your work by 48 pages? I said, my friend, you are in for it. I want to tell you, my listeners, that that lady did not finish that work. She didn't know what to remove and what to add because it was not original. She was merely copying here, go to the library. Information was surplus, and she kept on putting them together. And when it went to the supervisor at last, the supervisor said, present this work, but with at least 48 pages out of it. Try to be concise. Who are you impressing? Know how to summarize. In those days when education was really education, that was what we used to call précis. We learned précis in secondary school, précis writing. But today it's not in the curriculum, where you are given a material of about 3 pages, and you are asked to resubmit the whole of this work in 1 page and getting all the information together. It was such a Herculean task. Précis writing, Precis, précis. We learned it in secondary school, but it's no more there. And I think it's because of this lack of skill that many of us are putting all the mumbo jumbo together as work. Finally, one of the qualities in your writing is that it must be captivating. Right from the title, it must be captivating. What you're writing must be captivating. It must be able to draw attention of people who want to read it, whether it is an article, whether it is a thesis, whether it is a book. It must be captivating. And what are the indices of being captivating, to captivate? 1, the title. Why must you title your thesis as if it is a whole sentence? Maybe because you lack vocabulary. There are certain topics that you can summarize in 5 words, and which I have seen people write in 3 lines. 3 lines of a topic. Anybody looking at it gets tired even before saying, what's all this? But when you have a title that is it sort of suspends you. The reader gets suspended. Say, what is this title all about? You don't have to explain the content in your title. Make it in such a way that whoever wants to read it has a desire to go inside and find out what is this thing talking about. In your statement of problem inside the write-up, then you can elongate or expand that your title, what it's all about. Your statement of problem, let us know. And not to ask a question and use it as a title. I can answer you that question, which means I had no reason to read the thesis. I think with these ideas, brothers and sisters, I want to say academic writing is a very interesting. Even now, I love it. Even I'm speaking right now from my desk, my personal study, not even from office. Wherever I am, I like writing. I like reading. You have to be original. Learn English. You can't write in any other thing right now. One book I recommend to all those listening to me in your academic writing is a book called Writers and Editors. A book titled Writers and Editors. It's a very handy book published by Collins. The full title of the book is Collins Dictionary for Writers and Editors. Collins Dictionary for Writers and Editors. Please, if you can have a hold of it, try. You can go online. Go to Amazon. You can get the book. It's published by Martin Manser. It's a book of about 480 pages. It treats every word that there is in the English dictionary. It teaches us words that can be hyphenated, words that can be abbreviated, how you can write acronyms, pseudonyms, words that go with apostrophe or that doesn't require apostrophe. It will help you a lot. Even me, at my age and level of academic writing, I still use it almost on a daily basis. Sometimes I don't even remember whether exaggeration is double G or double X. Just get your Collins immediately. I don't know, sometimes I forget what words can have a hyphen, hyphenated words or not. It will help you. It will help you a lot. I want to advise, and this is a very common problem. I even encountered it last week with some friends who wanted me to look at a piece of work. Please avoid personal pronouns. First person, second person pronouns. Avoid them in all academic writing. What do I mean? I, myself, me, yourself, you, themselves. Avoid them. Third person is okay. Third person. Sometimes just use description. The writer is of the opinion, not I am of the opinion. Who are you to tell us I am of the opinion? The writer thinks. When we interview the subjects, they will have the opinion. Not when we interviewed and then you name people and so on. Most of the time we have it in interviews. Be very careful how you do your work. Much of academic writing is done in reported speech. And occasionally you quote, of course. You quote word for word. And when you quote, know how to do your punctuation. Brothers, if you allow me, I would say I am done and wait if there are questions or something else you would want me to explain. Thank you very much.
Prof, thank you so much for the elaborate presentation and the insight that you have given us to help us in our academic writing. It was very insightful. There are some things that you have taken us through, but I just want to mention that a few some of the salient questions that we need to ask ourselves when writing. So, listeners, we have some questions. Just keep them coming in the chat column so that Prof will take them. But I think I want to thank Prof for the wonderful work he has done by helping us to understand some salient questions that we will need to answer when we are going to embark on academic writing. First of all, we have to clear the message that we want to send to readers. What is new that we want people to know? And what is that we want them to know? He has helped us to understand who the publisher and the antecedent of the publisher that we intend to publish our work with. We should consider the financial implications of the research project that we want to embark on, and then the ultimate purpose for which we are writing, which he has admonished us to be hungry to contribute to knowledge and to practice. He's also taking us through the 6 C's in academic writing, to be confined within the context that we want to write. We should be critical in what we want to write. We should address what is it that we want and ask critical questions. We should be coherent and link our paragraphs and our thoughts. And we should be concise. And then we should go back to revise our preface or summaries. Our title should be captivating, and we should be able to corroborate what we do. I think Prof has made a very important thing. He has asked us to look for a book written Collins Dictionary for writers and editors. I think we should all try and look for that book to see how we can help ourselves write good articles. So, Prof, thank you very much. I'll go to the chat section and see what the listeners have for you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Yes, Prof. So just a little. I want to first of all convey my gratitude from Prof. Anama Mensah to you, Prof, for accepting to facilitate today. It's not been too well. That's why he has not joined us. But he's with you.
Thank you.
Somebody's asking whether, thank you, Prof. Can we get the slides? We will put the entire thing on YouTube. We will put the entire thing on.
I have sent the slide.
Yes, I
have sent the slides.
Okay. Yes, Prof. I was sharing with them. I was sharing the slides with them. So we'll even put the audio presentation on YouTube. because you notice that the slides are very skeletal, and Prof was just speaking to the slides. So we'll put the entire presentation on YouTube for you to have detailed presentation and explanation of some of the things that he has summarized. So somebody said that, Prof, thank you so much for the presentation. Very educative. Good presentation. God bless you, Prof. Very educative, pleasurable, that we can never measure. Thank you, Prof. This came at the right time for me, very insightful. I want to find out whether we will get the slides. Yes, you'll get the entire presentation, the audio and then the video session. Prof, can you please help me to know the important aspects of writing the statement of the problem? Hello, Prof.
Yeah, you said something. Yes, okay. I'm listening.
Yes, somebody's asking, says, Prof, can you please help me to know the important aspects of writing the statement of the problem?
To know the what?
To know the important aspects of writing the statement of the problem.
I can't hear you properly, but I guess it's saying the importance of problem statement.
Is the important aspects of problem statement.
Oh, good. The problem statement, it has a background. There's a background to that problem. What has led to the problem? Let's say you want to look at teacher quality in early childhood education in Winneba district. Teacher quality in early childhood education in Winneba. Let's say that is your topic. Now, your problem statement, the problem is you want to investigate the quality of teachers that engage in early childhood education. You start by giving a little background. What motivated you to start to look at that? Why do you want to look at that? Why do you want to undertake that study? It may be a personal experience. It may be your personal experience. It may be what government has said or supervisors of schools had observed. You might even talk about what have been happening in other countries that you observed. And you tend to think that the same thing is not happening in Winneba. That's a background. So your background statement is that there is a likelihood that teachers in early childhood education in Ghana do not seem to be properly qualified. Remember the word seem. In academic writing, use what we call hedging words, hedging words. Do not be finalistic. Do not be authoritarian. Do not be, you're not God. Do not say there is not or there is. It seems, it looks like, is often observed. There is a general opinion that those are hedge words that you must use when you are making your problem statement. There is a fear that teachers at this level of education do not care one way or another because perhaps of the scarcity of such teachers in the metropolis, and so on and so forth. What I'm trying to say is you give a little background and tell us, and that is the background statement. I don't know whether I've said anything useful to the questioner.
Why not, Prof? Very useful. Okay, so Mohammed is asking, Prof, says that thank you, Prof. I also have great love to contribute to knowledge, but my worry has always been with how to put together articles for my literature review. And also, must one have a foreknowledge on what to research on? That is a concern from Mohammed.
You don't have to have foreknowledge or what to read, otherwise it will look artificial. What you write on will come to you, like those in religious profession who say they see vision. It may come to you like a vision, something agitates you, something touches your mind. It may come up just in a conversation, mere conversation you're having with other people. Somebody makes a statement and you say, wow, that is true, that is true, that is true. Don't you think somebody should really investigate this? It becomes your subject. You don't have a foreknowledge before a priori, no. You go on studying, reading, the thing will just come from what you have read out, and it clicks your mind. You say, yes, this issue, I'm not clear about it. I think we should go and look at it. It becomes your topic. You can have a foreknowledge of it. I'm talking about material for literature review. Is as you are reading, you begin to collect information. You search for literature review. You search for it. It doesn't come. So the topic for your thesis, you don't have to just sit down and say, this is my topic. I don't want to keep on telling you stories about myself. That's not the essence of this meeting. I would have told you how I did even all my masters, my PhD, and the rest of them. Nobody told me. I would just simply say, "Oh, this is a problem that needs greater probing." Probe, greater probing. You may not solve it. You probe into that problem to get more information, more facts that will enable others or practitioners to help it. So, it's your experience, personal experience, from what you have read, from what you have heard, from what is happening around you, can make up what your research topic would be eventually. Thank you.
There's a question from Christy. It says that, please, Prof, can we have names of some of the journals who do not take money, where we can publish? Thank you.
They are all over the place. They are all over the place. Go seek on internet. University journals usually don't take money. If you go to Oxford Harvard Review, they won't take money from you. They'll rather give you money. If they accept your article, they'll give you money. In my university, every department has at least 2 journals. And we don't charge money. But when we are going on, we advertise and say, volume 8, number 6 of social journal, request for articles. We tell you the conditions. We don't take money from you. The journals are sponsored by government grants. So why would we take money from anybody? There are many, many, many journals. I said these journals that take money are fake. Hear me again. Many journals in Britain don't take money. They didn't take money. Many of them.
Okay, Prof,
even in Africa.
This concern. There's another concern that says that, you spoke about the 6 C's. It's asking,
yeah.
Thanks, Prof. Can you elaborate on the second C that is corroborated?
That is what you write, corroboration. What you write will confirm or be related to what is going on. Your study cannot be standing alone. It must have a relationship with some other studies to corroborate, to support, to give credence to. If you look at the word dictionary, corroborate, it's not the same. It's not the same thing as collaborate. Not collaborate, but corroborate. That is to give attention to relate to confirm. You corroborate. Something had been happening before, you confirm or you deny it, you refuse to confirm it. That is corroboration.
Okay. So Ibrahim Abla is asking.
Hello?
Hello, one Ibrahim Abla is asking, Prof, after
Hello?
a successful, hello, Prof. Hello, Prof.
I'm listening.
Okay. Somebody's asking.
I'm
Ibrahim,
listening.
yes, Ibrahim asking, after a successful thesis, does it go back to the specific locality to solve problem? I think what it's asking is whether after your thesis, you need to go to the place where you collected the data to solve the problem that you are trying to solve.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
I think his focus is in the like an action research, whether you have to go back to the locality to solve the problem that you have investigated.
It depends on your problem. What is your problem? If it is an action research, you go there now and report to them. If it is a case study, you must, thesis. Case studies do not qualify for thesis because they are restricted. They are terribly restricted. They don't have what we call critical mass. The number of subjects that you are going to take will be very small for the population. You can't use a case study to generalize for Winneba, for Ghana, for a district, for a town. It's only for that particular institution. It's for them, case studies, but they are good. They are good studies, but they are not good materials. I mean, PhD thesis and MPhil thesis should not be case studies.
So there's a question, please, can we have some examples, that is by name, of the highly recognized international journals? He's asking if we can get some examples by name of highly recognized international journals.
He's commissioning me as a consultant. Yeah, he's commissioning me as a consultant. As a student, it's his job to go and find out. And that is that's the meaning of being a research student. I won't tell him.
Okay, so please, how do I benefit from earlier presentations? Some of the presentations are on YouTube. So just go to YouTube and type Iris seminar presentations, and you will find many of them that we have put in, uploaded on YouTube. Please, how do we argue and create gaps, a review of literature? Are there any indicators to look for? Thank you. I think before Prof comes in, we have had a whole session on.
I did not say create gaps. I say identify gaps. You identify gaps. In other words, when you are doing research and in your literature review, there are certain things other studies before you in the same area did not reflect, did not find out, or took for granted. Now your study has been able to include them in your study. So you have identified some gaps in the existing literature. Take, for example, there was a time it was assumed that intelligent quotient, that's what they call intelligent quotient. They test measuring whether somebody is intelligent or not. And they came with the assumption that blacks are less intelligent than whites using that test. There's a test called IQ test. There's an instrument for that. If you are going to study in England in those days, they will apply that IQ test to you to determine whether you're intelligent or not. And most of the time, they say the blacks score lower than the white people. But people have done studies that showed that there is no one intelligence. That there is no one intelligence. What the whites were measuring then with their intelligence quotient is ability to recall, to memorize, and remember. Knowledge, just knowledge for its sake. They didn't think about other aspects of life as being part of intelligence. So anybody doing now study, a new study now would identify the gap in that one that believed that intelligence is racially based. But your own study has found out now that intelligence is not simply knowing, remembering, regurgitating information, but that intelligence means much more than that. It includes thinking, doing something extraordinary, doing something nobody has done before. So you have established a gap in the existing literature, the former literature. You have added something new to it. That's what I mean by identifying gaps in literature.
Hello, Prof.
Hello.
Yes, somebody wants to know how you come up with a conceptual framework. Whilst we wait for Prof, the IT department has put the link to the YouTube videos, and it's on the screen. So it's www.youtube.com/channel, that is channel UCBLU-5AGNLI6X. So you can copy that one and put on YouTube and see some of the videos.
It's not there. Yeah.
Yes, Prof.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Prof.
Sorry, the internet is funny.
Yes, we know the challenge that we are going through. Somebody wants to find out how you come up with a conceptual framework.
How you come up with what?
A conceptual framework.
Yeah. Conceptual framework from the word. Hello?
Hello, Prof. We can hear you.
Oh, God. Yes. Yeah, okay.
Prof, we can hear you.
Conceptual framework.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm speaking.
Yes, we can hear you.
I say conceptual framework. Conceptual framework is a framework of the concepts that are involved in your study. And, you know, in literature review, there are two segments in the literature review. One is conceptual framework. The other one is review of previous studies. The conceptual framework is merely the theories, the themes, the topics that are read.
Hello, participants. We are having this challenge because he's presenting from Nigeria, and we are also in Ghana here. You know the context of those of us in the developing areas. We are so struggling with our internet connectivity. So that's why we are having this on and off.
In UK.
Okay.
Hello.
So, yes, Prof, welcome back.
Yeah. So I've been saying that the concept that I related to your study, like all those terms, those are the concepts. That aspect of your literature review is the conceptual framework. The second aspect of your literature review are review of previous related studies. Like I was giving an example. If I'm doing a study on job satisfaction, the conceptual framework will consider things like meaning of job satisfaction, types of job satisfaction, relationship between job satisfaction and gender, relationship between job satisfaction and age, relationship between job satisfaction and environment, the blah, 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 blah. Those are the concepts around job satisfaction. They make up your conceptual framework. But the second aspect of your literature review is review of previous related studies, in which case the person doing work on job satisfaction will now review other studies, not book publications, other studies that have been carried out on job satisfaction and review them. And at the end, find out whether there is any gap in those studies. Is there anything missing in them? Is there anything they ought to have considered when they were doing their own study, which you are now going to consider? That is what we call identification of gap in the literature.
Okay. So, Prof, there is from Michael Osu, who says that, please, Prof, can we know the names of the journals in your university? Thank you.
Go on the internet.
Yes.
Okay. So, Michael, you have had it. Go on the internet and search for it. And then somebody's asking, please, so adding to knowledge is not always something new.
Let the person go on the internet. Just get ordinary Faculty of Education, University of Lagos. You will get at least 6 journals from that faculty alone. You will get at least 6 journals. And they are published twice a year.
Okay, so Michael, you have heard it for yourself. Somebody's asking, so adding to knowledge is not always something new, but confirming or relating findings to others can also be a way of adding to knowledge. So he's asking whether confirming or relating findings to others can also be a way of adding to knowledge.
Don't we know the meaning of adding to knowledge? Something I didn't think about before, and you are telling us now. You are telling us something we didn't know before. You're adding to knowledge. If you confirm what is existing, you have not added to knowledge. You are confirming. Look at the word, confirming. You confirm, you did not add. I've told you about somebody who did a research, and now we are talking about artificial intelligence, emotional intelligence, academic intelligence. These are all addition to knowledge. The previous knowledge was academic intelligence. That was all we knew. Our fathers and grandfathers, all they knew was academic intelligence, being able to remember, being able to regurgitate, being able to write and express yourself. That was intelligence. But research have now added all that one. In my school days, I didn't hear about artificial intelligence. In fact, I didn't even know about emotional intelligence only about 6 years ago. These are addition to knowledge, not confirmation of knowledge. So when you confirm, you have not added.
Okay, Prof, thank you so much. I would
Thank you.
want to invite Prof. Sanama Mensah to make some comments if he has some.
Is he around?
No, I
Yes,
came
he has
very late.
joined us.
Prof. I came
Please
very
give
late
him,
when you had finished.
give him my warm regards, my humble regards.
I receive it. Thank you very much.
Thank
Yes,
you very
I
much.
was
Prof.
just listening to the questions of the students and, just coping up with some of the things. But my words to the students is that, some of the questions you are asking, it means that you haven't gone to look at earlier, presentations.
That's right.
About literature review, you're asking about problem statement. All these have been covered. Have you gone to read them? It's not just coming here and listening and then going away. It's you need to build up, and the build up is from where you collect your data. You propose your statement of the problem and go on to literature review, whatever, and so on and so forth, and do your analysis. I thought the questions, you were going to ask Prof will be questions, related to what he had presented, so that, if there are anything that is not very clear to you, you ask questions for clarification. But when you go back to things that have been done already, it means that you have not gone to read them. No. But that's not academic scholarship. You listen to people, you go back to the literature to look at it, and then if there are things that are contrary to what you have heard, you come and raise it, and then we start all talking. And that's academic scholarship. Otherwise, you'll be spoon-fed. You always want, hey, this information. You're even looking for journals. I mean, journals all over the place. So you haven't even finished your thesis. Yes, you need to think about it. But the most important thing is to get to grips with your study, with your thesis, research work. How do I collect my data? And when I collect data and there are gaps in the data, what do I do with them? And those kinds of things. They are so critical, for you to get relevant information that you can share with others. So please, my students, let's go back. You're asking about where do we find this? It's always there. We started from day one saying that everything will be on the on YouTube, and you can go there and then assess them. So don't ask those questions again. I mean, they are there. Go and read them. It makes me sad because it looks like what are we doing? We're not doing the right thing, or what? Our students are not following what they are supposed to be doing. I mean, we present this to you once in a week. You go back, you try to consume it, to understand it. Maybe in the presentation, it's not very, you did not understand everything. Go back, really look at the presentation, and then if there are any issues, you note it down. I'm sure the presenters will be willing, if you have their emails and you send them, questions, they will be willing to.
That's right.
Yes, So
that is true.
You get into scholarship. That's how you interact as an academician. Otherwise, you just find yourself all alone doing your own thing and then not relating it to anybody. So, but Prof, I thank you so much. I'm the summary given by
Thank you, sir.
Manja was really great. So thank once again. You are far away, but you are here with us.
Thank you.
So
thank you,
so
Prof.
much.
Thank you, sir. I'm grateful. Thanks for involving me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, so for participants, thank you for joining us today. Next week, we will have an equally very important topic. We know that when we are on our thesis, whether PhD or MPhil studies, we are often stressed. We would want somebody who is very experienced to help us to understand how to manage stress on our journey to the PhD or the MPhil journeys that we are. So we're looking at how to avoid being stressed by the thesis writing. We'll look at how to combine your graduate journey with your work, especially those who are working. How do you combine your studies with the work that you are doing? So next week, we will concentrate on this, and we will have a very experienced person to help us understand how we can manage stress in our work and also combine our studies with the work that we do. So thank you once more for coming today, and I hope to see you again next week for that all-important presentation. Thank you for the day. And Prof, thank you so much for accepting to help us understand how we can publish, especially those of us who are young academics or those who are still on our PhD work, because in academia, we often say you either publish or you perish. So thank you so much that we are able to understand how we can write articles that will not be rejected, and we can have articles published in high impact journals. So thank you so much, Prof, and have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye.